Is it going to be all smooth into this golden timeline with trying to make the world a better place? Or the low vibrational ones are not going to relinquish their grasp easily. So anyone can see that with what's going on in the US. We are going to be talking about the Golden Age timeline confirmed. And how friggin' amazing that we've even come this far, guys. I mean, 9 years ago, I remember thinking, okay, this is great. Where are we going to go with this? And then I remember 7 years ago, they're like, okay, we're going to start your Ascension path. I'm like, okay, yeah, September 1st, we're going to start bringing in a lot more energy. I was like, all right, cool. We're going to come in through your stomach, through your solar chakra, your heart chakra, and your crown chakra. I was like, all right. And then it happened. And then I remember working during the day and feeling like I got sucker punched with the flu. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I can't handle this. And this is too much. So I did say to Source Frequency, hey, this is too much. Can you step it back, please? Because I can't handle it. So fast forward, Golden Age timeline confirmed. And I'm going to be channeling Erik, who's going to be assisting me today, my right-hand man. And he helps out with my spirit guides. And I really, really appreciate him a lot. He's like the ultimate indigo kid like myself, which I really love. And sometimes he's a bit blunt, so just be prepared. So when we're looking at this Golden Age timeline confirmed, we have entered a new timeline. Heaven on earth is being ushered in, and the Schumann resonance has been spiking, which is showing this new energy being ushered in. Oh, the Schumann is coming in with some really wild activity, like thick blocks of white energy. And it's, you can feel it. Boy, it's been coming in. For me, it's been really ramping up since April. And they tell me they're going to double time it in August. So we are now shifting and changing energetically along with the earth, who is also ascending. So the earth decided she wanted to ascend. She called in for backup to lift and raise her frequency, aka us. SOS calls were sent out. The earth was asking for help, and our souls heard the call to come here to earth in order to help lift her frequency so that she even could ascend. Without us being here on her back, I doubt she would be able to ascend, not like she is now. Also, during our 3-month break in the past, I really found that gave her a break from us, and she really elevated after that, and she seems a lot happier since then. When I check in on the Earth's age, and if we were to look like a child versus a teenager, or middle-aged, or later on in life, roughly age timeline in my human brain, she tells me she's roughly 15 years old. So she's still a prepubescent, okay? The earth is still learning and growing herself, but she is ready to go. She's tired of being locked down in a lower frequency. And because our souls chose to incarnate here is the reason why the earth is able to move in this direction. And nothing showed me that more than when I was doing a remote viewing of the earth back during the dinosaur days. Yeah, no matter how horrible you think earth is right now, go have a look at what it was like energetically during the timeline of the dinosaurs. It was so closed off, non-existent energy here. And it was heavy. So Dolores Cannon spoke about this, that not everyone will evolve with this new earth. Not everyone is ready to go. Anyone with strong ego will think about what is in it for themselves, will evolve with that vibration, which is known as the old earth, the lower vibrational earth, which means they will experience this experience with the old earth frequencies. The new earth and the old earth is a metaphor. It's not actually a splitting of the old earth and the new earth. There's an infinite amount of different earths. But what's happening is we are witnessing and aligning with this high vibrational earth because the earth is helping us, but not everyone is going to go. So just know that if you are feeling these ascension symptoms like moodiness, depression, heart palps, spaciness, lightheadedness, fatigue, your body is upgrading to this new earth frequency. In time, as we rise and vibrationally, we will become more in tune with earth and each other more synergistically. Okay, so we'll be more in the same flow, because that's what happens when we enter a higher vibration. Things will become easier and we will be more in an alignment with what we need, not necessarily what we want, but rather what we need at the time. The right people, the right things will be more effortlessly attracted to us because we are now in that new vibration. And I'm going to let Erik talk about this golden age and the timeline in which it's starting and anything else he wants to talk about. He's dancing. He says he's celebrating and they're having a party because we finally made it this far on Earth. Finally. He's like this. Finally. Finally. For some of us, this golden age started sooner, earlier. And for the bulk of us, it's starting roughly now. And then there will be those who are still new to this timeline who will step into it, this golden age. And he says, trust me, it is golden. It's where you want to be. Individuals in the future who decide to get on board, that will be the beginning of their timeline. Is this guaranteed by the higher dimensions? Or is this solely based on free will choosing? Free will choosing. Some won't be able to. They can't even comprehend it. They try, but they can't. Their frequency isn't ready yet. So there's no point in trying to make others awaken or get this. If they ask questions, answer them. He says that I like to push a bit. Indigos or indigo children like to kind of push the norm. They like to push for people to wake up. But he says, how did that work? Oh my God. So he's he's looking at me like some of my family members, like, so how did that work out for you, Kristin? Not so good. So they're just energetically not ready. He's also talking about some of us have had starseed origins off Earth that are so different than Earth that it's going to take us more practice, more experience being here on Earth before we're ready for this timeline jump. And others have been incarnating here on Earth a long time. Maybe we've had incarnations in locations that are similar to Earth, so it's an easier step-off point for us. Whereas some, whether they like it or not, their soul has decided that they're going to jump into this timeline and they'll be essentially pushed into it by health issues or big problems that will level them to the point where they think or view or see life in a different view, which will help them awaken. When you're curious and you're asking questions and you're starting to look outside yourself, that is the beginning of awakening, he says. And also with this golden age timeline, there's a lot of gold light being ushered in here. And part of this gold light is the Christ consciousness energy. And then he's talking about us embodying that light frequency. He's also talking about a lot of spiritual retreats will become more and more popular in the future. Spiritual gathering places, communal living on large parcels of land, being more immersed in nature and communing with nature, going out into nature, grounding your energy, connecting with the love and light that is here, that abounds all around you. It's just a matter of tapping into it once you decide that this is the timeline in which you wish to participate and be involved in, a part of. He's saying that in a lot of ways he wishes that he could be a part of this too, because it's regardless of what we're seeing on the news or online, this is actually quite a beautiful time on Earth and for Earth herself. And then he is showing me Earth smiling a lot. So the Earth is quite happy with what's transpiring and going on. So don't worry about it, peeps. It's all working out for your highest and best good. And there's no need to overthink it or worry about it. And for those who think they're going to have their cake and eat it too, and treat humanity poorly, we have a few words for you. Don't. And the light will prevail, as it always does. I just thought I'd let everybody know, if you don't know already, that Senator Marjorie, I think her name is, on the Republican side, she is writing up a bill right now that is going to make chemtrailing above the skies in the US a felony. So I'm super pumped about that. And I am so ready about it. And I hope that that traverses across all other countries. So we are winning. And I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, so what can we expect over the next few years with this? More light, increased light. He's also talking about we're going to find it. We just won't be able to worry or have fear or house low vibrational thoughts, feelings, or emotions. He says right now we're seeing a sea of zombies walking around on their phones or that are drugged up or medicated, and zombies in this way. He says in the years to come, we're going to see people so blissed out, so enlightened, so transmutive. So he's talking about, like, I go to the grocery store and my light is beaming so much, I transmute everybody's heaviness around me. So everybody around me gets impacted by what's happening to me. And so it'll be a sea of blissed out individuals, blissed out peeps, a lot of smiling, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, a lot of self-improvement, self-love, self-care, connecting, and being a part of social groups that are high vibrational and uplifting, living off grid, living off the land, communing with others that have the same priorities or focus on important things in their lives as you. More abundance flowing forth easily, effortlessly, and that's not necessarily money in your hand, but it is all forms of abundance flowing forth. So that could come in, hey, would you like to house sit my house for free for 2 years? It could be, hey, somebody has a car for free. Oh, cool. Oh, hey, I've decided to start giving out my inheritance to anybody that's in need, and I just wondered if you needed any help. It could be all sorts of different ways. It could be helping someone cook and clean, and they decide to help you in any which way. That used to happen to me, you know. I used to do a house cleaning company a long time ago, like almost 10 years ago, and a client would just give me $100. Thank you, just to show appreciation. There's going to be those who are focusing on the old archetypes here on Earth, and then there's going to be those that are so detached and frolicking in the woods and connecting with other like-minded souls or spending time on their own. But they're very disconnected from the system or what's going on, and they are happy and joyous. So anytime I've ever seen this, like if we're not a vibrational match to other people's frequency or energy in general, then there's a gap. So then you just don't really hang out with them anymore. How many of us have had family members that have kind of left our lives or friendships? Because it's just, you can't make that work. They're either going to want to or not. So anything you want to say about what will be the experience of the low vibration? It's kind of like happening already, he's saying, with these democratic states and these democratic cities. They're operating in their own ruin. So they're breaking things apart, destructing, making things harder on the people living there. And it's not serving their highest and best good if they think that they want to get reelected or elected for presidency. So he shows me Gavin Newsom with that. Like, if he thinks he's going to be the president running this country and you can't even run that state and you're billions of dollars. Like, he was billions of dollars flush when he got into this, which meant they were ahead of the game. And now they deteriorated all that, and now they're like billions of dollars under. And they wanted to pay for the illegal immigrants to get health care, right? Well, that's billions of dollars. And so when they had a lot less money coming in from tourism, they didn't have the money to pay for the immigrants' health care. So they'll just work on their own demise if they want to keep moving in that direction. Some will spin. He's talking about chasing their own tail, spinning in a circle and not really going anywhere. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but when I look at Nancy Pelosi, oh my God, chasing her own tail big time. At some point, like they said, they just leave Earth. They just leave their bodies. And now we're seeing that with Nancy going into a lot of dementia. She can't even speak properly, which both my grandmothers had dementia at some stage as well. But ultimately, if you aren't going to contribute to this new frequency here on Earth, I doubt you're going to be able to make it very far. What do you say about that? They're going to have like the rug ripped out from beneath them. They'll leave the Earth. Things will be very difficult for them. And there's going to be more exposure of their ill ways into the light. So for everybody to see. And have you noticed that? If Donald Trump went and prosecuted every single person, he would poke some pretty big holes in the matrix, which financially, I don't know if he could support all of those court cases. It would just drain everyone's bank account, aka the taxpayers that would be paying for it. But what he does is he just points it out. He just shows it. He just exposes it into the light so everybody who has 2 cents to rub together can see what's really going on. So you'll just have people that just, maybe they won't even notice you. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting because I'll see Pete Santinello on YouTube. If you guys haven't watched his channel, it's amazing. He goes off and he's finding these group of people that have been on the land and they're making their own tinctures and they grow their own food and they're in the forest and they've been living this paradise experience for the last 30 years and no one even knew that they existed. So you're just going to have all these people having a great time and they're just going to be super high vibrational and positive. And that's totally what I'm signing up for. I didn't sign up for the trials and tribulation part my entire life. I want to be part of the party part. I want to be part of the party scene. I want to be like learning how to grow food and connect and commune with spirit and just living off grid and having blue skies and clean air and clean water and clean soil that isn't being chemtrailed every 2 seconds. Yes, please. So this is the direction that we're moving in. What do you say? Is it going to be all smooth into this golden timeline with trying to make the world a better place? Or the low vibrational ones are not going to relinquish their grasp easily. So anyone can see that with what's going on in the US. The overall goal for spirit is to have freedom for people, rather than being ensnared or controlled by the systems that are being put in place. So that's the goal. AI, robots, universal basic income. We've got to navigate that where the people will not be ensnared into a digital age with facial recognition cameras and all the rest of it. So the people will have to push back on that. But then He's also talking about people going off and creating communities outside of the cities and living off grid and having a positive experience on earth and a continuation of the light being built. He's also showing me like there are certain churches that I'm drawn towards, not for religious reasons. I don't go in on Sundays, but I'll go to the church usually when it's a quiet time, when I know no one's going to be there. And I sit there and I bask in the light. There's a lot of high vibrational light that funnels through. And that doesn't mean about what the people talk about or what they're teaching, okay? This is a light point center for the angels, the archangels, God, the ascended masters to come and frequent. And any one of us can go to these light centers. So it'll be the same thing when we're off in different locations around the globe. We'll be ushering in and bringing in a lot more light, similar as to when I like to go and enjoy the church, just sitting there basking in that light. And it's very uplifting and transmutive. You know what I keep saying to Source, and I don't know if you guys are going to be okay with this, but I keep saying, let's ramp things up. Let's go. Like, we gotta get this moving. I don't know if God will go any faster because maybe we can't handle it, but definitely I'm like, let's go. Let's move it quicker. I'm done with these chemtrails. I'm done with this BS. I'm done with this sending young men off to war for what? For financial gain? No thanks. Oh, hey, another good thing that's another win is BlackRock is leaving the Ukraine, which tells me that the land that they purchased there probably isn't going to be theirs as Russia encroaches. So BlackRock is sent off packing. I don't know if maybe Trump did a deal with them to get them to leave, but this is a good thing. A very good thing. The less BlackRock, the better. All right, anything else? Yeah, if anybody would like to join the remote Healing with Jesus coming up August 10th, that's coming up for $33, and I have it up on my website right now. Also, there's only one spot left at 30% off if you feel drawn to having a reading. All right, you guys, have an awesome weekend. Week. See, this is what happens when you're self-employed. You forget what day it is. All right, bye.